From WLWT, this is Issues.
Hello everyone, I'm Courtis Fuller and welcome to Issues. Today we have a special guest with us. She has been around Cincinnati for over 20 years now, running the Hamilton County Cincinnati Community Action Agency, and she is stepping down from that post after some 23 years now. And please welcome to Issues my dear friend and neighbor, I should say, also Gwen Robinson-Benning.
Thank you.
You told a story recently that when you came here, you thought the position was only going to last 6 months.
Yes. George, I have a lot of stories, but I'll save them for my book. I was interviewed. There was Cincinnati had paid for, matter of fact, Procter & Gamble paid for a headhunter company out of Cleveland to search and find. And I was at a conference and leading a session when lady in the audience said, "Hey, can I have your resume?" And I'm thinking it's for to do more training. And I gave her my resume. I sent her my resume and came in for the interview. And they interviewed me at the United Way, the old United Way building. Right. So I never got a chance to see the office. And matter of fact, I interviewed twice there. Once I took the offer, I was really excited because here I'm from Rockford, and here I'm coming to not only a larger community, but also one that was more culturally diverse. And so I'm sitting at my desk, and there was a stack of letters, and on top was a letter, a note that just said welcome, and good luck. And so I said, "Oh, thank you." You know, so I read the first letter, and here's a letter from the federal government saying I had 6 months to close out the Head Start program, and a letter from the state saying they were not going to fund us. We would be on a reimbursable. And so that means you go out and find the money to pay everybody or buy all your consumables, and then they'll reimburse you. And so I could not believe it. So I had to, I asked the board, "Did you just bring me here for 6 months?" And they didn't know. They were very much unaware that that was the case. But here we are, 23 years later, still going and stronger than we were. And
you were with a community action agency.
I was with the city of Rockford, and under my Department of Human Services was the Department of Community Action Agency. It was a public agency, much like it is Chicago. Much of the cities in Illinois happen to be public.
So what was that like when you got here and you got a chance to meet Ted Berry, who really started all of this? Talk a little bit about his significance, not only to the organization, but here and nationally. But was he able to give you some advice on things?
He was wonderful. He was wonderful. I was told that you had to be here 10 years before you get your stripes and get your citizen paper. And so I said, okay, let me keep working on this, okay? But as we moved forward and remediated the debt that was bestowed upon this agency, we decided that it is time to do something else. I was tired of seeing our children not having their own facility, so to speak. I mean, many of our classrooms were in basements, and so you didn't have the best conditions for a teacher to be creative and the children to feel like I belong. And I think it took, one time I was going to visit one of the sites and I saw the children walking along the sidewalk with a blanket over their heads. It was raining. And I'm saying, why are children out here? And they said, well, there's a funeral going on and they need the basement. And from that point, I went to the board and said, that's it, we gotta build. And they kept saying, oh no, we just got out of debt. And I said, let's get into some good debt. And so the board was very supportive. And looking for a name, we were throwing out names, and one of the staff members said, what about Ted Berry? And everybody, yeah, it just fell on us. And so I decided to, before we could do that, to make sure that he's okay with that. Because the agency had gone through a dark period, and I didn't want to put his name on a building and he's not sure of the agency. So I got a chance to visit with him. And when I walked into his room, he was looking out the window. It was almost like I wasn't there. And he asked me a simple question: why it took you so long to come and see me? and, and I said, oh, and I still hadn't seen his face yet.
Right.
And I said, because I wanted us to be in the right place before I come to and have an iconic moment with you. And he said, okay. And we turned around and he sat down and nodded for me to sit. And we just talked about that whole history. And I was enamored because I had seen his name on a lot of documents when I was in Illinois.
I can imagine.
And so to be able to sit here with him, and he shared some background, he shared some things he would like to see happen, and it was just so peaceful. And when I got ready to leave, I said, oh, by the way, can we name the Head Start building after you? And he laughed and he said, you could name it after me. He said, because it's in good hands. Mm-hmm. And I just felt that was the moment for me.
Right.
That was the moment.
You know, when people look at the agency today, yeah. and you look at that whole area out there and the transformation. Yes. I mean, because you moved out in that area when? Yes. When was it built?
13 years old. So
okay.
13 years ago.
Okay. So you think about what was taking place out there, and you know, Reverend Jordan building the church and the new housing, and now you have a new Woodward High School. So that whole area, when I drive past there, I'm reminded of the transformation.
Yeah, it really was. I was invited to a meeting, and at this meeting there was over 50 to almost 60, 70 people in the one room, and I never knew about the underground office that Carol Wallace used to be in. And so we were there, and the city representatives were there, and the idea was to look at that area and see what we could do. The Huntington Meadows was there, and crime rate was at 68%. Wow. It was just deteriorating. So the question was, what could we do? And everybody was just on the, we were doing all the writing on the board and brainstorming this. And finally, after 5 or 6 meetings, everybody was to come back and say, what can you do? And when you look around the room, it went from that high number down to about 10 of us that stayed through that whole course. And so Reverend Jordan stood up and he said, I tell you what I'm going to do. He said, I'm buying the whole Swifton campus. and pretty soon the others were saying, well, I'll help out. I'll help you put that deal together. And then they talked to the city, said, well, we got to do something about Huntington Meadows. And all I could offer at that moment was my agency would help relocate people and families. And they said, okay. But as we moved on and started relocating and doing what we said we were going to do, I would ride by and look at the old Elder Bierman building. Oh, and I would just sit out there every day just looking at it, saying, what could happen? What could happen here?
Hold that thought. We're going to take a break, and then we'll pick it up right from there. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Courtis Fuller. I'm here with Gwen Robinson-Benning, the president and CEO of Community Action Agency, stepping down from that post after 20 plus years. I was asking you during the break, moving forward, what do you see as the role of Community Action Agency? I mean, you work with young people, and so what do you see the role of Community Action Agency going forward?
That's a good question, Courtis, because we've talked about it. And I see that Community Action Agency should be a core of all of our movements, especially when we talk about poverty. It's amazing that the Community Action Agency is not in the midst of it. We're always sometimes an afterthought. You have a group of the same people said, we're going to solve this poverty, and then they'll call and say, Gwen, can you get on this committee with us? But I'm on the committee not for the voice and not for the services or not for the observations or the knowledge base or use of our staff who themselves, many of them were clients of ours. Wow. Our Head Start program have many teachers that were parents. But that's not why we're there. We're there to, I think, give them credibility. And I think, so moving forward, I'm really hoping that the agency is more engaged in doing white papers and actually being in the forefront of helping to move families out of poverty.
It has been, I will tell you that it has been the spot, if you will.
Yes.
People have utilized, and you've
Yes.
opened the doors as a place for forums and events, and so that's been great. What will you be doing? I know that you are involved in so many things, and you obviously need to take time for yourself, but what are some of the things that you'll be doing?
I don't know, Courtis, and that's a good question. I know some of the things I want to do, and I definitely stay engaged. I don't want to get lost. You know, if you don't see me for a couple of months, you know, I'm downloading myself. But I want to stay engaged. I want to stay involved. I think that, you know, we brag about Cincinnati. Cincinnati is my home. I love it. But it's disheartening when everyone, many who were born and raised here, don't feel the same way. And when you look deeper into where they're coming from, you find that there's such a divide in our city. So on the surface, we really look like we're all having fun. But underneath it, we're not. And I want to really work with that issue around segregation and around isolation. We really need to bring ourselves forward. We do a lot of research. If there's an issue, we definitely jump on it. But we sometimes forget bring the inclusion part. And I think the biggest compliment I received, and I want to thank everybody for the compliment, but when one of the nonprofit execs called me and said, I want to tell you, you beat the table about inclusion, and I need to tell you that I have hired 4 new employees in my administration. I've never had diversity in my administration. I've never been asked to, never felt I had to, until you kept pounding it and showing me the value of it. And he says, I need to let you know I just hired 4 new people. Wow. That was a good compliment. I said, sometimes I think I'm just blowing to the wind, but that made me feel like, okay, you get it. And so if I could just stay on top of that and continue to work with that.
I know that anytime you move into a new city, it takes time for you to feel like this is my home. I think as you exit from this role, you've been honored in many ways. We were together at the Black Family Reunion Breakfast where you were honored, and I know you're going to receive. So is that validation that, you know, maybe you've made that difference?
Yes, and if you know anything about me and how I work, I don't do what I do with a reason for gratitude. I do it because that's what I'm here to do. That is my conviction. And so a lot of times, many of us, including you, who have been a major part of our annual luncheon, we look forward to you, you just do what you have to do. And you don't think about tomorrow saying, oh, he did a great job or she did a great job. You just do it. And so after 23 years of doing it, 7 days a week, of speaking, I'm heavily engaged. A lot of times I'm participating in community affairs and I never see another nonprofit there but me. And that's okay. That's why I'm there. I want to do that. So all these awards and everything, I'm so honored and humbled by them because I never paid attention to all of that. Yeah.
Well, well-deserved. Thank you for your friendship that will continue beyond this show and beyond your retirement from there. But all the accolades, well-deserved. One, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, is coming up September 7th. involving the Cincinnati Reds, and they're going to talk a little bit more. I asked you if you were throwing out the first pitch, and you said no, it won't involve that. So
it won't, but if it did, I used to play semi-pro fast pitch softball. I was a back catcher.
Well, maybe they might change their mind.
I threw him out at second base. So I didn't go sideways. I went straight.
Well, you will be honored by the Cincinnati Reds, and so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But good luck. I'll be seeing you around.
Yes, you will.
All right, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Courtis Fuller. A few moments ago, I was telling you that Win Robinson Benning will be honored by the Cincinnati Reds. That's coming up on September 7th. It is called African American Community Night at Great American Ballpark. And to talk a little bit more about this, it's an event that's been going on for a few years now. Two people with me, Natalia Herndon, who is the Reds Diversity Relations Coordinator, and also Andre Elkins, who is the Reds Ticketing Coordinator. And welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about this. As I said, I know it's been going on for a few years, but September 7th, you want people to come out. Tell me a little bit about what's going to happen September 7th.
Yeah, so we'll start out with a fixed band in the Kroger fan zone before the game, and then for pregame ceremonies, we'll have Gwen Robinson Benning for the Community Advocate Award. We'll have the Dunn family from Black Family Reunion honoring them as Family of the Year. And we'll have a few other pregame ceremonies that will be very exciting. Absolutely,
absolutely. And as I said, it's an opportunity for folks to come out. I should point out to folks that there are several nights similar to this, community nights, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But for September 7th, talk about ticketing for that and how group sales would be a great way to go.
So at the Reds, we have over 3,000 groups that come out to Great American Ballpark throughout the year. So it's an opportunity for the African American community to come out and really bring all those different groups together. So for $20, we have an awesome ticket package going on. You get one of these T-shirts here from Originalities, which is a Cincinnati-based organization, and then you also get a ticket to the game in our Optics district and $9 in concession stand credit. So you can use that for food, beverage, whatever you want to use it for. And it's a really cool opportunity to bring everyone out. The district has a beautiful view of the city. You can go up there. There'll be a DJ, rooftop view of the city, and it's just going to be an awesome night.
Yeah, you know, because I mean, I love baseball, and you know, I love baseball, so I can go and just watch the game. I can just sit in the stands and watch the game. But you know, now with social media and everything, even a baseball game or a football game or a sporting event has become like more of this entertainment, and people are walking around and they want to do other things. And if you have pregame and postgame events, so it's really a draw. And I assume that's what this event has turned into. Huh?
Yeah, we want people to come out that aren't necessarily baseball fans. So the Optic district is catered to them, so they can come and watch the game if they want on the TVs out there. They can play cornhole, they can mingle with their friends. It's just a fun environment for people who aren't necessarily baseball fans.
Right, absolutely. As I said, this has been going on for a few years. What's been the success over the years that you can gauge?
So every year we're getting bigger and better. We want to make more connections with people. That's our goal, is to reach out and have connections and show inclusion at the ballpark. So every year we're getting better and better, and we hope that this year is even better than last. Yeah, absolutely.
And as I said, there are other community events like this, Jewish Night and Pride Night. Is something that the Reds have taken on, and it's my understanding that this is really occurring throughout Major League Baseball to be as inclusive as possible and making sure people get out to the ballpark and mix there. Is that the case?
Right, so we are seeing a little bit of a decline with MLB, so we want people to feel included and to feel like that baseball is a sport that they would want to enjoy and come out and see, and that you don't necessarily have to focus just on baseball, that there are so many other things that happen, and we want people to feel included.
Yeah, you know, and as I said, being a baseball fan and being a Reds fan, I know, and I talk to people. I mean, people enjoy just watching the game on TV. So and that's a great thing, but it has impacted sometimes people coming out to the game. And so this is a great opportunity. If I want to get a ticket, I'm certain I can just walk up to the window. But what's the best way of getting a ticket for this event, September 7th? Sure.
So if you go to reds.com/community days, you go on there and you can select your shirt size, and we have all the information about what's going on that evening at reds.com/community days.
And do you send me the shirt and all of that, or is that?
You'll actually pick it up on the day of the game. When you go there and you make it up to the Phi Optics District, we'll have a table there and you can pick up your shirt, and then that way everyone can be wearing their shirt. And it's a really cool opportunity to bring your family out. And it's a Friday night, so if you know anything about the Reds, it's all about fun. So we have fireworks going on to a Motown soundtrack, a little R&B and hip hop and everything, so it's going to be a great time.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I hope I'm not working that night. Maybe my assignment will be covering this event, huh? No, that sounds like a great event, and we encourage everyone. If you haven't been to a game, it's a good opportunity to go to a game. It is September 7th. They're playing the San Diego Padres. I haven't kept up with the standings. I'm not sure how the Padres are doing this year, but it'll be a good matchup as the season is winding down. So it'll be a great opportunity. That's the first week of the year and right after Labor Day, so it's a good opportunity. Friday, September 7th. If people want more information, is there a number that they can call?
Just go to reds.com/community days and everything is listed there. That is the easiest way, honestly.
That's the easiest
yes.
way. See, in my day, people used to call. That's all right. All right. Well, that does it. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Before we get away, I want to just mention a couple of things coming up. August 28th, as you know, which is a couple days from now, that is the 55th anniversary of the March on Washington. And here in Cincinnati, there will be a big event, including Dr. King's daughter, Bernice King. She'll be in town to really set the tone for the 55th anniversary of the March on Washington. I'll be taking place at the Duke Energy Convention Center. And then, of course, all of us will be praying for the Aretha Franklin's family, because coming up on the 31st, as you know, that is her funeral. And so it's pretty hard as we think of the Queen of Soul no longer here. Well, that does it for our program today. I'm Courtis Fuller. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.